Hey lovely people, welcome back once again to another episode of Stitches Biz Collection. I'm Miss Stitches. Today I'm so grateful to share with you how to make this easy and beautiful beaded handbag. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. Let's get started. Materials needed. So we are going to start with the first side of the bag and we are cutting our fish line. So you make sure it's long enough. We are using 0.7. So you make sure you have equal parts. And then you fix 4 beads. So you can fix it on any side. This time you can fix it on the right or the left fish line. Okay, so I always like fixing it on the left fish line. Then you cross with the last bead, which is the 4th one. So this is our first. Then the second one, you still pick 3 beads. Fix 1 on each fish line. So you fix 1 on the right fish line, fix 1 on the left fish line. Then you cross with the last one. So you cross with the 3rd one. So the second part will also add up to 4, as you can see. So you still go on and fix 1 bead on each fish line, then you cross with the last one. So you pick 3 beads, fix 1 on the right and left fish line, then you cross with the last one. So that's the 3rd one. So we need 18 chains in all. So you are going to repeat the same process 18 times. So when you get to the last one, which is the 18th bead you still pick 3 beads. So you pick 3 beads, fix 2 on the left fish line now. So note, we are fixing 2 on the left fish line, then you cross with the last one, so we can have the fish line turned to the other side. So as you can see, the fish line has turned to the other side for us to start weaving the other end, or to weave to the other side, sorry. So you go on and pick 3 beads again and still fix 2 on the left fish line. So you still fix 2 on the left fish line, then you cross with the last one. So it's turned completely for us. So as you can see, it has turned completely for us to weave towards the other direction. So you go through the next bead, as I'm doing, and then you fix 2 beads. You fix 1 on the left fish line, then you cross with the right fish line. So as you can see, the second lane is forming. So you go through the next bead, then you pick 2 beads again, fix 1 on the left fish line, which is the empty side, then you cross with the right fish line, which is the side you went through the bead with. So you go through the next bead. So we are going to weave to the other end here. Yes, there we go. But when you get to the last end, you go through the last bead as usual. Then you pick 2 beads, but this time you fix 1 on the right fish line. So you fix it on the right fish line and cross with the left fish line, so we can have the fish line turned again. So you pick 3 beads, fix 2 on the right fish line again, and then you cross with the left fish line. We want it completely turned for us to weave to the other end again. So you weave to the other end with the same method. Go through the next bead, Now we have a 10, so we are still going through the next bead with the right fish line, as you can see. Then you fix 2 beads on the left fish line now. Then you cross with the right fish line. So we have it fully turned and the fish line are on the same position. So you fix it and you go through with the same beads. Then you fix 2 beads and go on and cross with the right fish line. Then you weave to the other end. So you weave to the last end again, as I'm doing. So as we did with the last side, or with the second step we did, when you get to the last end, you fix the bead on the right fish line, then you cross with the left fish line. Okay, so you fix on the right, then you cross with the left to have the fish line turned. You need to have this in mind. So as you can see, I'm doing, and our fish line has turned. So we are going to weave the same thing. We need 7 steps. So we are weaving the same steps 7 times. So we simply need 7 in a row. So stay with me and let's weave on. So we are done and we have 7 is to 18. So we are going to continue to build on the handle. So on the longer side of the mat we have 18 beads, and to make the handle we have to divide the beads into 3, but we have to let the middle side to be the more. So we counted 5 from each side, leaving 8 in the middle. So to start, you pick 3 beads and fix 2 on the left fish line, then you cross with 1. So this one you can start from any side, from the left side or the right side. So you fix and then you start building on it with the same method as we did. So you go through the next bead, fix 2 on the left fish line again, then you cross with the right fish line. So we are going on with the same method to the 5th bead. So we turn on the 5th bead. You fix the beads on the right fish line now, and then you cross with the left fish line so we can turn. So we are weaving up to only the 5th bead. So you count. So after you turn on the 5th bead, you go on and weave to the other side with the same method as we did when we were starting, or with the starting method. That is all. So you weave to the last end, to the direction the fish line has turned to. Then when you get to the last end again, you still fix the beads on the left fish line and cross with the right fish line, as I'm doing, so we can turn to weave again. So we are weaving twice, 2 more times to weave. 2 more steps to go. So on this part we want 4 steps. Okay, two beads on the left fish line. So you fix all the beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the next bead here, as I'm doing the bead I'm going through. So you cross with that side. There we go. and then you pass the excess fish line through to this bead here. So you pass it through. So I'm passing it through to that side because I have my fish line is long enough to start that process, or to start that method. But if your fish line is not long enough, you can pass it through and cut. You can pass it through everything and cut it off. Then we begin with a new fish line. But because mine is still long enough, that is why I'm passing it through to that side. So that is where we are going to do our next step. So we have it there now, and we're about to build on it. So we need to weave 13 chains, okay, to cover the length. So with the same method, you fix one bead on. So with the last part, we still need our fish line turned. So you fix 2 beads on the side you want to turn with, which is the left fish line. Then you cross with the right fish line. So we have it turned now, and we are going to build on it to weave and join it as we did with the other side, or with the opposite side. So with the same method, you are going to continue weaving, but remember you have to turn when you get to the 5th bead. We have to weave, or the last step we have to weave. We have to join it to make it complete. Okay, so on the left fish line, you fix 1 bead, and then you go through the last bead here, the one I'm going through, and then you cross with 1 bead. So let me say we are joining it together to make it complete. So there we have it. You can see it's joining. So you go through the next 2 beads. So you go through the right fish line through the next bead, and then with the left fish line too, you go through with the next bead. Then you cross with 1. So you join all till you get to the 5th bead. And there we have it now. As you can see, we've joined it and it's complete. Okay, so we are done with the foundation of the handle. Let me say this is the foundation of the handle, and we are now about to build on it. So we are about to build fully on the handle. So we still have to build on the handle to make it strong. This is not strong, so you have to make it strong. And I have excess fish line, like I have more fish line to weave with. So let's go. You pick 3 beads, and then I'm still fixing it on the left fish line. So I fix 2 beads on the left fish line, then I'll cross with the last bead. So this way it's also going to direct you to the direction you are going to weave towards. There we go. So I go through the next bead with the right fish line, and then pick 2 beads, fix it on the left fish line, then you cross with the right fish line. So this is all the same method we are using. So you go through the next bead again, and then you fix 2 beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the right fish line. So it's the same and the same method throughout the making of this bag. So when you get to know the first method, you are good to go. So we are going to weave using the same method all round. Pointed out with the right fish line, and now you fix one bead on the left fish line, and then you go through this bead here, and then this bead here. Please watch it well to see the beads I'm going through. Then you go through this one too. Still fix 3 beads on the left fish line, and then you cross with the last one, as we did with the first step or with the first part of the handle. Then you go through the next bead. So that one too, on the side you fix with, that is where it's going to direct you to move towards. So you pick 2 beads, fix it on the left fish line, then you cross with the right fish line. I always love fixing my beads on the left fish line because I'm comfortable with that. And you can fix it on the right fish line if you're also comfortable with it. That one, it's optional. So we are still moving on with the same method, and we are weaving all round as we did with the first step. And there we go. To close the second layer completely, with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads here. So you go through the beads I'm going through, the next 2 beads I'm going through. And then you fix 1 fish line and cross with both sides. So you cross with 1 fish line, as you can see. So we have it completely closed now. And then with the left fish line, you go through the next bead, the one I'm going through, and then you fix 2 beads on the right fish line. So you fix 2 beads on the right fish line, then you cross with the last one. So all we are doing now is to cover the top of the handle to make the handle complete, like fully complete. So you go through the beads with both fish line, as you can see, then you cross with 1 bead again. So you go through the next bead, then you cross with one bead. Inti na ni na ne say ye catastro no ten ebe ya like handle ni be firm ebe complete. One cover we koni handle efe firm on non feel. So when I had to branch, I went through the next two beads here, and then I crossed with one bead, adding up to 4. So I'm going to do the same to the other side here off camera. So we are done with the handle. Let me say we are done with half side of the bag, and we're about to do the second half side of the bag. So join me and let's go on. So I'm going to fix a new fish line on the second bead here. So I skipped the first bead and I'm going through the second bead with a new fish line. So you definitely have to make sure you have equal sides. Then you fix 3 beads on the left fish line, and then you cross with the right fish line. And then you still make sure you have equal parts. Yes, then you go through the next bead, fix 2 beads on the left fish line, then you cross the last bead with the right fish line. So it's still the same method we are going with, just that with this part we are leaving the last but 1 bead on any line you get to. So you weave to the last but 1 end, and then you start from the last but 1 end. That is all. So you weave to the last but 1 bead here. So after you are done weaving, you pass the fish line through to the last but 1 bead here. So you pass both fish line to the last but 1 bead here. So that is what I'm doing. So you always keep the last but 1 bead and start weaving from that side. So we have it there now. We are going to start weaving from that one. So you still fix 3 beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the right fish line. So there we have it now. We go through the next bead and then do the same thing with the same method. Thank you. So we are going to weave to the last but 1 bead here again. There we go. Still pass your fish line to the last but 1 bead here, and there we have it. And then you are still going to weave to the last but 1 bead again. So all you need to know with this part is we are starting from the last but 1 bead and we are ending on the last but 1 bead. That is all, but it's still the same method we are weaving with. So you weave to the last but 1 bead here. Yes. So we are going to weave one more time. We are going to weave one more time. And then as you can see, we are having something like a triangle shape here. So when you get to the last end and you have enough fish line, your fish line is long enough for you to still weave with it, all you need to do is to end it this way, like I'm doing. But if you don't have enough fish line, then you have to pass the excess fish line through everything. So I have enough fish line, but I still want to pass it through to make the work firm. Okay, so to make the body of the bag film or the first side of the bag film. So I'm passing it through. I still have excess fish line to continue with, but I still want to pass it through. So we are almost done with the side of the bag, but it's left with one more and last step for us to take to complete the side, or to complete one side of the bag. So fix a new fish line. You leave the third bead and fix it on the fourth bead as I'm doing. So on the fourth bead, that is where you start from. Then you make sure you have equal sides, and then with the same method you pick 3 beads, you fix it on the left, then you cross with the right bead and still make sure you have equal length. So there we go. Then you go through the next bead, then you fix 2 beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the right fish line. So as you can see, is the same method which we are using to build the body of the bag. So we are building the body of the bag, which is half side of the body of the bag. So we are going to continue weaving with the same method throughout to the last 4 bead on the other side, so to the 4th bead on the other end as well. So to the 4th bead here exactly. So I started and ended on the 4th bead. So you then fix 2 beads on the left fish line, and then you cross with the right fish line to turn the fish line to the top for us to weave one more time. So we are going to go one more round again with the same method. So there we go. We are done with the first side of the body of the bag. So this is one side of the bag, and I did one side off camera. Okay, so as you can see, it's the same length, the same height, the same size. And now we are about to join each other to get the full bag. So I have excess fish line. I still have excess fish line long enough. So you pick the left side and then fix 1 bead there, and then you go through the first bead on the second side of the bag, as you can see, and then you cross with 1 bead. So you cross both fish line with 1 bead. Yes, and then you go through both bead with the fish lines. Okay, so you use the right fish line to go through the next bead, and then the left fish line to go through the next bead, as I'm doing, and then you cross with 1 bead. So with this side too, we are only going through the next 2 beads and then crossing both fish line with 1 bead. So we are joining the bag to make it a full bag, to make it complete. To make it firm, and we are done with our beaded bag. So this bag is all in one. We have the handle attached to it, so there's no need for us to make another handle, and you can make it in any color of your choice. Please give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more of my tutorials. Comment and share as well. Follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you in my next video, and bye.